This is my Unit 2 final presentation by Jessica Prado in Mrs. Professor Chansey's class, Literature 2000. So I am choosing to do the topic, essentially money versus love. How does the pursuit of money negatively affect Walter's life? How does love save him in the end? Walter pursues money in deconstructive ways, and within pursuit, he loses his way in a fighting chance. Love saves Walter Younger in the end because of the love from his mother and family. So Walter clearly goes through a lot. He definitely, suffers because he chooses to put money before love and before his family. So he definitely learns a lot within this play. I quoted the themes in our Gale packets on page 186. He longs to invest his father's insurance money to a liquor store because he wants to achieve financial success through his own efforts. Lena Younger, the mother of the Youngers, receives an insurance check from the belated father Younger. She divided it up between her family, and Walter Younger took it for granted. So Miss Lena Younger, she bought a house and then split the rest up between all the children. And unfortunately, Mr. Walter ends up losing a big portion of that money. And so here Miss Lena Younger is ready for a better future, ready to get out of their small, roach-infested box of a home. And then this is the family realizing the love of their mother, Miss Lena, and quoted a part of our Gale packet, volume 2 on page 185. She realizes how much a business would mean to Walter. She gives him a substantial portion of the money, hoping this will encourage him to live more fully. So she's thinking that this is going to give Walter a chance to prove himself and to actually make the right choice, the correct choice for himself and his family. That his father is no longer alive. They need a man of the family. They need someone to take initiative. His mother can only do so much. She's done as much as she needs to, and she's just waiting for her family to come together. And that starts with Walter Younger, because he is unfortunately straying, leaning more towards money and how he can have his own business and have his own success instead of putting his family first. And that starts with being aware of that. And here we are. Walter suffers loss and defeat. He chases money. He is just thinking about himself. He's kind of surrounded himself by pretty hasty, sketchy people. And he's being influenced, and he's kind of blinded by money and the value that the money can bring him. And oh, if he has his own liquor store, then he'll have an income and he doesn't have to worry about suffering anymore or struggling, or his family struggling. But he's got it all wrong. They have everything that they need, and here he is just trying to throw away his money and trying to live in the fast lane. And he learns quickly that he's defeated. He's here at a bar just drinking his sorrows. I quoted Tynan on page 197. Walter Lee has lost what remains of money to a deceitful chum. He announces forthwith that he will go down on his knees to any white man who will buy the house for more than its face value. From this degradation, he is finally saved. Shame brings him to his feet. So, he is at the point where he will do anything in his power to make up for his loss. So he he tries to have Mr. Lisner pretty much, he wants to take him up on the offer to pay more than the face value of the home that his mother bought. And through all that guilt and like sorrow and shame, he does finally wake up. Here we see Walter tries to make things right. Walter chooses to invest his father's insurance money into a liquor store, but gives the money to a man who then runs off with his investment. Walter feels like a complete failure and starts to be impulsive. He tries to have Mr. Lindner's buy the home back his mother purchased to make up for the money he so foolishly lost. It took Walter Younger that huge failure in order to realize that, maybe, just maybe, there's another option here. There's another way out. So it took this catastrophe in order for him to understand that, this is not exactly how he was raised. Here we see Lena Younger giving Walter words of encouragement. Walter finally realizes that there is always something left to love, even in himself. When he remembers his own father's pride, he declines Lindner's offer because he remembers who he is and where he comes from. Chasing money allowed him to lose sight of his morals. It's really simple for this to happen. We get all wrapped up in the idea of money and like what it can do for you and what it can bring you. But at the same time, in Mr. Walter's situation, he has a family to care for, and he can't make irrational decisions. He has to make calculated, wholesome decisions. Walter is finally realizing that he needs to put his family first and stop allowing fear to overcome love. Quoted Demina, page 193, "My father, he earned it for us, brick by brick. We don't want to make no trouble for nobody or fight no causes, and we will try to be good neighbors." So here we are. Mr. Walter finally realizes, my father worked himself to death. My father put his entire life on the line in order to make sure that his family had a life to live, food on the table. His life is his passing of his life is what gave them this insurance check. So, it's really sad that Mr. Walter Younger had to lose the entire check in order to realize, wow, I need to possess what my father possessed. Like, we are prideful, hardworking people. Like, we are not just going to, fall to our knees and be pushed over. Walter was finally growing into the man he was meant to be for himself and his family. I quoted Demina on page 193, "Walter realizes that just as his dreams cannot be realized for him by others, neither can they be destroyed for him by others." So, just along Walter's journey, he realizes, finally wakes up, like, I'm ready to be there for my family. I'm ready to not let anybody take away the life that we all deserve. And then finally, there's hope. Walter becomes the man of the family. He refuses to let Mr. Lindner back to the home for more than its value, and he moves into the home with his family without looking back. I quoted Demina on page 92, "Walter will come into his manhood." And here they all are, finally, through all the chaos. And my works cited, of course.